everyone, and welcome back to Having Juice with OJ. Today, we are here with Germ. It is just me and him today. We do not have a guest. Say what's good.
What's happening, everybody? How we doing?
How was your weekend, Germ?
It's a calm one. You know, playoff basketball is still underway. First round, we had probably the best game of the year happen on, what was it, Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. Game 4 between the Clippers and the Mavs. We saw Paul George go absolutely nuclear in the first half. We saw Kyrie Irving turn back the clock seemingly 8 years back to 2016.
Yes,
we saw
sir.
James Harden turn the clock back to 2018, and it was amazing. It was euphoric to a point because it was so much fun to watch. And, you know, that series being that series for me personally. And, you know, aside from that, you know, we got the Pacers going up 3-1. We got the Knicks going up 3-1. We got the Nuggets closing out their series, the Thunder closing out their series, the Celtics getting close to closing out their series. You know, we got the Cavs and the Magic, which seemingly was looking like a sweep, turned into, you know, what can be a 7-game series. So that's how you know, like, the first 2 games, you know, kind of testing the waters. But now that we're like a week deep into it, some series are over, some are halfway over. You could tell it's here.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, right away, the Cavs Magic, we assumed it was a goner when it was 2-0. I mean, yeah, we bickered about it a little bit. I think this series has become one. I mean, when we first talked about it a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how it's 50-50. We really don't know. And then last week, it feels like it was a wash. And then all of a sudden, it's 2-2, tied up. Paolo looks great. Franz looks great. What do we make of the series, and what can we see happening? And who do you think needs to step up the most in order to make their team win this series?
Yeah, so, you know, what stands out to me first is that home teams have won their games. So, you know, we haven't seen an away team. We haven't seen Orlando go into Cleveland and win a game. We haven't seen Cleveland go into Orlando and win a game.
Yep.
In fact, when Cleveland went down to Orlando, they played terribly.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, right now getting an away game, it is huge. If the Magic can get that today and go up 3-2, that's, you know, that might seal the deal for them. You know, it's just going to have to keep relying on Paolo and Franz. You know, they're going to have to keep playing the way that they were. Paolo didn't have too great of a game on the scoreboard, but they washed the Cavs. So, you know, it was really all Franz that last game.
It was.
And, you know, Donovan Mitchell, he's been struggling a lot. Jared Allen's been looking like the best player in the series for the Cavs. For the Cavs, you know, this series, this playoff run, it is what it is. But, you know, moving forward, I think you really got to look at the backcourt of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, and you got to make a decision. You know, I mean, it does come after Donovan makes his. Is he going to stay in Cleveland or not? And when he decides that, you know, you got to see what you can get for Darius Garland, because we're seeing that this backcourt can't coexist. And especially, like, they're good enough to get a top seed in the East in the regular season. But, you know, when we're in that half-court offense and, you know, we really need a punch, whether it's offensively. And, you know, Donovan Mitchell hasn't been doing that, especially from 3. You know, he's been shooting abysmally. And Darius Garland is just seemingly like kind of non-existent at some points in the series. So they really got to ask themselves that question afterwards.
Yeah, I think front court has been their bread and butter right now, it feels like, for the Cavs. Also kind of feels that way also with Magic. I mean, it doesn't feel like the shooting is up to par in that series. It feels like they're both kind of just struggling to play in playoff basketball, which tends to happen with a lot of teams when you see that it's only them winning at home. Like, that's how you can really tell that it's getting to these people. It's pressure. I mean, it's a hard thing to be in, especially as a younger team. But for the Cavs who have seen it, Donovan's been there. It's just, it annoys me at this point to see him always go out this sad. Like, if you're Donovan Mitchell and if you're a fan looking at Donovan Mitchell, you should be expecting him to win one on the road. Like, that's how you should think of a superstar. That's an all-star mentality.
This is a guy we've seen drop 50-plus points in the playoffs before. Like, ever since he came into the league, when he was on the Jazz, going against, you know, the 2018 Houston Rockets by himself. Literally. Going against the Paul George and Russell Westbrook OKC Thunder by himself, and, you know, taking those series far. And, you know, it is a shame, because ever since he came to Cleveland, you know, last year, this year, just seems like they're just going out flat. And, you know, it's a shame, because he's always in that conversation for one of the top players, especially in his position. But now he's getting outshined by people like Ant Edwards who are stepping up.
Yeah, it's just ugly to see. I feel like and this is such a stretch to say because I don't know the guy, but it feels like he just lacks that leadership quality of bringing a team together and getting them to do it for each other, which a lot of all-stars and greats need to do in order to bring a team that doesn't have the most amount of people, like all-stars are on the team and they're just like kind of putting it together. It seems like he's not able to do that for them. Jared Allen does Jared Allen. He's not doing it because somebody else is hyping him up to grab that 20 and 15 game. You know what he does. We already know what he does. Darius Garland, like, he's been underwhelming to me. And I was somebody who was very high on Darius coming out of college, but it's just been ugly to see. And I don't know even what to make of this series anymore. I was so heavy on Cavs, I guess, is kind of how I've been feeling. But at this point, I don't even want them to win. Like, I don't even want to see them go to the second round because I think the Magic have more fight after just coming back from 2-0. I think that they'd be able to put up a better matchup in the second round. That's what I believe.
And it kind of goes back to like the off-camera conversation that we were having, whether, you know, you were arguing more about like the Cavs offense and I was saying it was more like the Cavs defense. And, you know, I feel like it really was the Cavs defense that was holding them up because, you know, we saw through the first two games, the Magic were just mucking it up, not being able to score.
They couldn't shoot.
And once they finally were able to, you know, get some offense going and, you know, we're seeing them break down this defense, the Cavs offense isn't looking anywhere near how good it was looking in the first two games, which can be attested, in my opinion, to the defense. So, you know, the Magic, they found something in the last two games. Maybe it can carry over to game 5, you know, keep that hot hand going. Yeah. Franz needs to really step it up this game. I think Franz is gonna have a really good game tonight.
Over whatever his points are in the first quarter is what I like.
Yeah, for him to come on and have like a quick 9-10.
That's what I'm saying. I was thinking 9, so that's perfect. So moving on from that series, we're just gonna keep it rolling today, guys. Let's just step right into the Sixers-Knicks because we're gonna be watching that game tonight.
Yeah.
Germ, who needs to step up for the Sixers if they can push another win in this series? Or do you think the Knicks are about to close it all out?
It's over. The series is done.
Barbecue chicken?
Yeah, the series is done. The antics in the series, man. Like, Joel Embiid, I'll just start there. Like, Joel Embiid is a world-class talent. He's a great basketball player.
Yeah.
But I'm growing a disdain for him. I'm really growing to dislike him. You know, you have no business doing what you're doing on the court with those antics, grabbing onto Mitchell Robinson's ankle, hurting him, kicking Dante, kicking Deuce McBride. Hey, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Like, you one of the best in the game, and that's how you're going to carry yourself. Like, that trickles down to everybody else. That body language that you show, especially at the end of the game. It was what? At the end of game 4, Embiid's body language was just, he was at the line. His body language is so bad that Maxey had to go up and hold his head up and you know, get him to compose
Which
himself.
is insane to me.
And it's like, you know, that goes to show, in my opinion, I believe that Tyrese Maxey is you keep Tyrese Maxey.
Yes.
Embiid is approaching 30 not on the good side of 30 either.
Yeah.
So
no.
Sixers front office, they have a lot of questions that they need to ask themselves. But in terms of this series, Jalen Brunson was able to turn it up the past 2 games. And it but like Nick Nurse was saying about how like they were guarding Jalen Brunson too hard in the first 2 games, which opened up opportunities for everybody else. And we saw, you know, Josh Hart have big games, Dante DiVincenzo have a big moment. And then they leaned off of guarding him too hard, and now he goes off for 36 and 47 and 10. So it's it's 3-1. It's over.
I definitely agree. I think that it's over. You're going to the Garden. Like we said, home teams have been winning. And if you're not 100% healthy, you're not winning this. I mean, of course, it's a whole different series if Embiid's healthy, which we always say every single playoffs. We say this, which is it's getting annoying at this point. I think that they take this game. I think that the Sixers go out sad tonight. I really do. I think that they might play hard for a little bit, but I honestly do not see it being like tight at the end. Like 10-point game. I think that they win by 10.
This series was over to me the moment that Embiid had gotten the ball open on the baseline. It had that wide open midi. And instead wanted a foul beat.
Yep.
and didn't get anything out of it. So at that point, I was like, yeah, this is done and over with.
One more grievance before we keep moving on about this Joel Embiid guy. I just had to laugh at myself for that because that's hilarious. This Joel Embiid guy, why is he blaming the fans and all this for not showing up to the game when they're not putting in half the effort? Like these guys aren't going for offensive boards. You've got Josh Hart, OG. You've got Hartenstein.
You had OG guarding Joel Embiid in the fourth quarter of Game 4 because Isaiah Hartenstein got into serious foul trouble.
Mitchell was gone.
Embiid had 1 point.
1 point.
And that's
insane.
That's no disrespect to OG because he's a world class defender.
Yeah,
he's
but also
defender,
it's
but like
totally different.
Embiid, you're an MVP of this league. You're one of the quote unquote top 5 players in the world.
Mm-hmm. And people say, and I would say, if 100% healthy, he is the best player. It's annoying that he would ever throw shade at fans for not showing up to games when you're down 2-0, you're not putting in the effort, then you win 2-1, and then you still expect them to come to the next game. When people are like, why do you expect all these people to throw all their money to come watch you guys just suffer, like, and just not play your hearts out and not get boards, like, and not make the correct adjustments? I mean, the playing too hard and then not playing too hard on Jalen Brunson, are guarding him. I mean, like, that doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, you still shouldn't in the first 2 games be leaving people open for open shots when you've got like Josh Hart and DDV. Like,
when you've seen them making,
they're not bad players anyway. Like, just because you're guarding him so hard doesn't mean you just leave people open for threes. And then just because you're taking away guarding Jalen and going to them a little bit more doesn't mean you just let him drop 47 and 10 on your head. You know, it doesn't make sense. It just, this series is done. It's a wash. And let's move on to the next series. Yeah. We've got the Pacers Bucks. I also think this is a wash. What can
I say? I mean, I will say, like,
it came down.
If you would have asked, I wouldn't have said it would have been because of injuries. But hey, Giannis has not come back, and Dame goes down. Bobby Portis gets ejected for throwing hands at Andrew Nembhard. Like, what are you doing, bro? Come on, Bobby.
It all went to shit when Doc Rivers came in.
True, but it's also like they did give a good fight too in that game. Like, don't get me wrong. Chris Middleton has been playing amazing, past couple games, but it's just not enough. This Pacers team they're starting to get it clicking. Aaron Nesmith, he's a baller. He's a baller.
Former Celtic there.
I know you guys gave him up for cheap, but he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing over there. But
no.
Aaron Nesmith he's a dog. He's becoming one of my low key guys to watch. I like the
he hits threes.
That's
something he always did.
Yeah. The high volume 3-point shoot. I think it's between him or Trey Murphy. They were like one of the highest shooting 3-point percentage shooters in college. One of those two.
He was a baller in college.
But Pacers are looking like they're able to close this out tonight. They're going to be able to have that matchup with the Knicks in the second round, a little bit of a historic rivalry there.
I think it's going to be fun too.
That's going to be a fun series.
That's a fun series to watch.
2 completely different styles of basketball.
Exactly.
It's going to be fun. And, for the Bucks, this is kind of like how I said, best worst case scenario, you guys go out in the first round and you guys got to make adjustments. You guys got Dame long term. Giannis is still there. Chris Middleton's still there. How does the pieces around them look though? Malik Beasley, he's a guy that took a little bit of less money to play on this team.
There,
so he's probably going to be somebody that's going to be gone because
100%
teams need what he provides.
Yeah,
and maybe guys like Andre Jackson get to shine a little bit more next year. He's been getting some solid minutes in this series, but I feel like it's a little too late for them.
I think they're on the fall a little bit. Keep it pushing because I think that series is a wash. We're gonna talk about the 2 washes that we already have. Lakers Nuggets. I'm just happy LeBron didn't get swept. I'm not gonna lie. Like, at this point, the Nuggets are just so good. Jamal Murray, 2 buzzer beaters, man. Like, you like 2 game-winning shots, bro. Especially when he didn't shoot good. That first game winner. Just excellence on that side. I mean, Jokic going out there and giving you like 20 boards any given night with at least a 25 piece and almost like 9 to 12 assists every single time. He's just insane to watch, and he's fun to watch. He's a different center. And there is an example of a center who knows how to keep his body intact. And that's that. Maybe it's that European wave type feel, but like he just knows how to play the game the way he should, the way his body will allow him to, so then he can stay in all the time and help his team. And it's just so beautiful to watch. It's fun basketball. No shade, just like that's how you know how to play with such a big man body and be able to use it to your advantage. So
without trying to be a bruiser.
Yeah, which I get it. A little bit 2 different style of plays for sure.
But you got to adjust.
But you, in this day and age, you got to adjust, and you got to be able, just like you said, just be able to do something different and be able to not hurt your body physically all the time. So what do you see, Germ, happening for the Nuggets next round? I mean, we see them going all the way, don't we?
Yeah, first things first. I'm sick. I needed 1 more Jamal Murray assist last night. I would have hit on my ticket. Yeah, this team. We talk about teams that, you have these 2 guys at the top, and then you have other guys that step up all the time. You have the Michael Porters who step up and hit big shots.
Great.
You have the Aaron Gordons who go out there and just go for the 50-50 balls every single time, make the hustle plays. You have KCP who plays lockdown sometimes and can go and give you 15, 20 on the other side sometimes. Yeah. So they have these guys who can just, kind of plug and play at different points in games and give you different, scenarios, if you will. And, it's great because I don't think there's any other team in the league that could really do that to the level that the Denver Nuggets have been doing it.
Yeah.
And now in this next round that they're going to go against the Wolves, who also swept the Suns, which the biggest disappointment in NBA history.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I'll be damned, huh? I'll be damned. And that's going to be a good series. That might be Anthony Edwards' coming out party.
I think it is.
That might be a solidification of the Nuggets' dominance over the league.
Yeah.
So,
that's going to be very fun again.
Going to see it going either way. Cat played great. Kind of trickling into the Wolves a little bit, but Cat's been playing great. Gobert's been playing great. Naz Reid's been playing great. Nikhil Alexander-Walker's been playing great. Like that Wolves team is here to play. So there's going to be they
just got to stay out of foul trouble with which the Nuggets know how to mess with people. Yeah, they know how to get you.
That experience might come and bite them.
Yeah,
but it's going to be a fun series. It's going to be gritty, and I think this is the first test that Denver's going to have.
Yeah,
the Wolves showed us that they're true contender right now.
I mean, I definitely love looking at plus 440 for the Timberwolves to win the Western Conference Finals. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I like for the value, it's amazing. Because if they can get through the Nuggets, which that's a big if because they're the Nuggets, if they get there, they're winning the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. I know.
You still got Dallas and LA.
I know. It's going to be hard, but for the value, I love it. Yeah, real quick, Timberwolves absolutely destroyed apparently what was going to be coming into this year the best big 3 in the league,
one of the
championship favorites coming into the season. Ugly season, ugly ending for them. Honestly, it's sad to see KD like this. I love KD. I'm a huge KD stan. It's upsetting to see him go out like this. And you saw him praising Ant Edwards, and you saw Ant Edwards praising him like so much love, but you didn't see much praise going toward D Book and going toward Bradley Beal. It felt like only those 2 really were. Yeah, there's a bug in here. Those 2 were the ones praising each other. There's nothing else. Do we see anything? Like, why do you think that happened? Why do you think there was no more talk?
I mean, you do hear the reports that KD was unhappy with his role in the offense, and visibly so. If I'm a fan of the Suns and I see KD standing in the corner for a lot of the game, I'd be mad as well. This team is just. It wasn't constructed well.
The pieces around them.
Yeah, like the second unit is non-existent. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, why is Eric Gordon getting the amount of minutes that he's getting and putting up the shots that he's putting? Like, I feel like every time I'm watching the Suns in like the second, third quarter, I'm seeing Eric Gordon pull up for like 3 terrible shots minimum. But it's just like stuff like that. Like Frank Vogel, he's now under the hot seat. This team's just never got a chance to really grow with each other and to really mesh well, and it showed.
I feel like they just got thrown together.
Yeah, they gave up their entire future. What's his name? Matt Ishbia, the owner, president, whatever. You know, he don't care about draft picks, so he trade. You know, they don't have anything until 2030.
Yeah,
the best they got is pick swaps. You can't trade Bradley Beal's contract. He has a no trade clause. Kevin and Devin are making what they're making.
Yeah,
you just paid Grayson Allen. And
who got hurt too,
and who didn't even play in the series. And when he did play, he didn't give you anything. You can't. I was seeing something. They can't sign anybody to a minimum. They can't sign any vets to like a minimum contract. They can't do anything. Like this team, literally cannot do anything unless they choose to trade either Devin or Kevin. And it's like, and if you do trade one of them, it's gonna be Kevin Durant. And it's also like, but what if KD wants to be there?
Yeah,
you're not gonna trade a Hall of Famer. You know, the Suns probably want him to finish his career there.
He's got probably 2-3 more good years, in my opinion.
If that. And you know, in my opinion, I feel like we saw his last like best year was 2021. And you know,
I agree.
Big ass feet had to be on the line.
I know.
He would have won another chip.
I know. That was actually wild. That was wild.
Like, you know, the Suns, you know, they messed up. They messed up big time. They went to that finals in 2021 and they had their core intact. And, you know, obviously if you get a chance to get a guy like Kevin Durant, you're
gonna do it. Yeah.
But going out and getting Bradley Beal at the expense of like trading away your Chris Paul is a Hall of Fame point guard. Yeah. One of the best point guards ever. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. I agree.
You give him away. You give up Ayton, which, you know, in my opinion, I'd rather have Ayton over Nurkic. And I said that last summer, and I think we see that we'd rather have Ayton over Nurkic on this team. And I feel like that would have gave them a lot more flexibility to go out and sign other players and maybe make other moves down the line.
Yeah.
But instead, they go out and they get somebody who was a 30 point per game scorer 3 years ago, came over, barely played, and didn't give you anything. Had played the absolute worst game of his career. And with that last foul, it just looked like he didn't even want to be there no more. The turnovers, the fouls, 9 points, like that's what you traded for. That's what you gave up everything to try to make this big three.
Yeah, didn't work. It did not work, and we always talk about how you really need a big three. Then not in those cases. Not if it's at the expense of giving away some key pieces that you need on a basketball team, because obviously 3 people does not win you a championship. You need a bench. You need to be deep. So that's not what we mean by big three. It's nice to have 3 all-stars, but if it's to come with a price like that, it does not make sense.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
Moving on, we've got OKC absolutely sweeping the Pelicans under the water. I mean, Zion Williamson going down, huge hit for them. Brandon Ingram, disappointing. Disappointing to say the least. 8 points this past game when they're literally in a must-win game.
It sucks for the Pelicans because I look at their situation similar to the Cavs and similar to the Hawks. You know, it's a shame that we didn't get to see Zion and Brandon Ingram play together in this series.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that would have gave us a definitive answer to whether or not they would have wanted to move forward with Zion, B.I., or both. But we did see a little bit of postseason Zion. We didn't see playoff. We saw postseason in that playing game. We saw that 40.
I loved it.
So, I mean,
he's exciting to watch when healthy.
Oh, yeah. He's a force. He's a force. Yeah. And, you know, we saw him. He was healthy for a lot of this year.
Yeah, he was.
So it's a shame that he went down at the time that he did. But then we got to see, like, B.I., you know, continuing to do B.I. stuff. You know, it's like...
It was ugly. I mean, I'm a betting man, and I was never even looking at his 20+, which is insane to say about somebody who you consider a star.
As talented as he is. And, you know, if you're the Pels, you're asking yourselves the same question that the Cavs and the Hawks need to ask. Who are we moving forward with? And, you know, you see all these, like, trade ideas. Maybe, you know, a Darius Garland, Brandon Ingram swap. Maybe that helps. You get a point guard on the Warriors.
CJ did pretty solid, too.
Played well, but, you know, CJ plays very well off ball.
Off ball, yeah, 100%.
And he's also, I think he's going into the last year of his deal.
I believe so.
If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
I know Brandon Ingram's going into the last year of his deal. I know that for sure. And it's like next year, the two starting wings need to be Trey Murphy III and Herbert Jones.
Yeah.
Like the
Trey's
amount
a
of,
bucket.
the amount of like those two guys are dogs. Those are pests. That's your front court of the future right there. Like you need to lock those two up because the amount of size and skill that they have at their position and for what they do, like it's invaluable for New Orleans, and they need to keep that together. Pair that with Zion, and CJ, who's still there. Get a guy like Darius Garland, possibly, or maybe get a guy like DeJounte Murray. Then this team is looking very different. But I just don't see how this Zion, Brandon Ingram thing is going to keep on going because we already saw them a couple years ago in the first round go out in 5 with just Brandon Ingram as well. And, we were still asking, like, should they be together or not?
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah, and then real quick OKC talk, and then we're moving on to the last and most favorite matchup that we love. OKC, they look amazing. I mean, we love SGA. We love Chet. We love Jalen. Like, what do we see this OKC team doing in the Western to make some riffles happen? Because it's pretty stacked over there right now.
Well, we just saw them get comfortable. Like, that first game that was really close with the Pels, I thought the Pels maybe could have stole that game, but, Shea comes back, has his fourth quarter heroics. And, coming out in the games 2, 3, and 4, they just look a lot more like the Thunder do. They look a lot more comfortable. They look a lot more ready to step up to the challenge. And, I was thinking to myself, hey, if the Pels get a game or two, then, it kind of confirms that, maybe the Thunder aren't ready to be one of the top echelon teams. But the Thunder came in and they took care of business.
Yep.
So, I feel a lot more confident about the Thunder. But do I think that they can go into next series and beat whichever team comes out? Because in these next 3 games, if necessary, whoever wins between Dallas and the Clippers is going to be scorching hot. So,
yeah.
And I don't know if OKC is going to be ready to handle scorching hot veterans like those.
Perfect transition because we're going right into Mavs Clippers to finish this off. Beautiful series. 3rd time that they faced each other in the first round. Like we've said multiple times, this series is just beautiful. Kyrie Irving stepping up. Luka saying that he didn't give Kyrie enough in a post-game interview before, and didn't he have 29, 10, and 10?
Yeah, it's something. He had around that,
I think
around
he
that
had
line.
that.
But it didn't feel like a Luka-ish line, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of feels like he kind of is supposed to give a little bit more, but then it's also like his attitude in the games a little bit have been kind of, a little questionable. It's like, is he going to get teed up? Because he's barking at refs a lot. He's barking at Russell Westbrook. Him and Russell Westbrook were going at it, in game 3. And, Russ gets ejected. Feared, I don't know, he probably woke up on the wrong side of the bed that morning. He was not looking good. But, yeah, Luka's looking like he's getting ready to really be locked in. Like, after that game 4, he's like, damn, like, he lost his game. Like, if I had played a little bit better behind Kyrie's 40, maybe we're going into LA right now, up 3-1. And
changes the series drastically.
There's 2 quarters, two bad quarters. Really kind of could have made this a sweep for Dallas. They don't score. If they score more than 8 points in game 1, they probably win that game. And they just had a 31-point comeback and fell short a little bit. So it's like those 2 things don't happen. Dallas could have won 4-0. And it's also more interesting too because the Clippers, or Dallas, for example, probably prepared for Kawhi. And when Kawhi played games 2 and 3, Dallas won. But then when Kawhi didn't play games 1 and 2, they lost.
Yeah.
So it's like funny to see. But, in all seriousness, I hope Kawhi's knee is good because they're going to need him, whether it's for this series or the next series or Western Conference Finals down the line. Like they're going to need this team to really stay healthy and to play how they were playing. Like James Harden was amazing in that 4th quarter.
Yeah. And
Zubats, he was great game 1. He's kind of starting to get played off the court a little bit, in my opinion. That's just kudos to like Derek Lively and PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. Like, what a trade for Dallas! Like going out and getting those 2 guys. Like those have been great acquisitions for them. And PJ Washington is such a great fit for that team. He's a nice fit for that culture. I like it, and he's a baller.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this game tonight, as I say every time I talk about this series. Oh, yes, tomorrow at 10.
But who do you think wins that game? It's at Clippers. Clippers are not the favorite right now. They're plus 2.5.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we also did see like the odds swing when Kawhi was announced to play. So it's like we had to see what's gonna happen with that. So I've been indifferent this entire series. I just want to see good basketball, and I've been seeing good basketball. So let's just keep it up.
Yeah, I'm thinking all the big guys are gonna put up big numbers again. Paul George, love seeing him all the time. Like, he's been one of my favorite players for a while since Pacers days. Gonna be a fun fight to watch tomorrow. Yeah, that was amazing. Jerm, way to break it down for us. Really tell us what we're going to see in these series coming up. I think the second round is going to be just phenomenal. First round had some boring parts in it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, like with the amount of games that are going on like per day, it's like you kind of got to find one to like sit out a little bit, and
yeah, especially when they're overlapping time periods.
Yeah, exactly. So, second round you get to lock in a little bit more. It's only 8 series, so and they spread them out a lot more, so we'll be able to really sit down and see them. I'm excited, man. The hype just keeps building. June is coming. Can't wait to see who raises that Larry O'Brien. It's gonna be
quick
fun.
Finals prediction. Who's in it for the Western Eastern?
Well, yeah, I've been saying all year Denver. So I mean, until somebody shows me otherwise, it's still gonna be Denver. Boston is coming out and taking care of business, but we're gonna see, because like I said, New York is that one team that could really punch them in the mouth. So if they get good and they get help, that's another thing. If New York ain't really healthy, they banged up right now. So they do make it to the ECF and play a healthy Boston has been kind of cruising. So then it's gonna be lights for Boston.
Yeah, I'm still riding with my same picks. Nuggets, Celtics, going all the way. My only other one that could take that throne, in my opinion, just for me, I like Anthony Edwards. It's a great story. 22 years old. If he makes it there, it's just going to look amazing, and it's going to get great publicity. The people want that.
It's like a young Kobe.
Exactly. He's the second coming of Michael Jordan, literally. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out. See you next week.
If you didn't know.